Steve. Hi, Lori. Hi, Jade. It's so light out. When I first started, it was dark at 8 o'clock 2 months ago. Nice to see you all. You made it. Cool. So I spent a lot of time just thinking today about, like probably a lot of people did, about the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, and in light of the fact also that today is the day that we hit 100,000 deaths, I feel like tonight would be a good night to do Tonglen practice. Hi, Margaret. Nice to see you. Hi, Lori Clark and Kristen. I guess the kind of thoughts that I came to that seemed like something I could work with were, you know, just that that a lot of times we have good intentions and we don't put any action behind them, and things don't change if we don't put action behind our intentions. And I think when we're practicing, like when we're practicing meditation, Margaret, I mentioned that I spent a lot of time today just kind of thinking about the death of George Floyd, the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis, and checked in on some live streaming of protests there and just thought a lot about it. So, and so what I was saying is, I guess that if we're practicing and we want our practice to be meaningful, then, you know, we can practice setting an intention, and then we form our practice around that intention, and we work with that intention in our practice so that when we go back out into our lives, we learn how to take action, like the right skillful actions based on our intentions, so that our intentions inform our actions. And in a way it seems kind of simple, but it's like we feel so helpless sometimes, and so hopeless. And so I wanted to do Tonglen tonight because I think Tonglen feels to me like you're practicing something useful. You're changing yourself when you do Tonglen. You know, Tonglen is a Buddhist practice of sending and receiving. And so I think there's a lot of practices where we want to feel good, and so we do what we think will make us feel good in our practice. Like all of this, like laying down on the floor and relaxing our bodies, super important, and we can do that tonight with Tonglen if we want. And sometimes it's like we're afraid of doing certain things, especially if we've had trauma or we're grappling with difficult things. But sometimes doing the harder thing, or what seems like it would be the harder thing, can actually be very liberating. And that's kind of been my experience with Tonglen practice, which seems like it would be, and it might be triggering, it might be difficult for you. Oh, Lori, I'm sorry you don't have audio. You can also go to the, oh, I guess you're only on my feed. Yeah, close it and try it again. Usually it'll come back on. So what we're doing when we do Tonglen practices, we're simply breathing in, you know, we're breathing in a specific type of pain that our that we've chosen to work with, and then we're sending out relief and love and compassion. And so we've done it here a few times, and I've done it in prison as well, and got very good feedback on it. So choose your position for this evening. You could sit, or you could come onto your back. And I will talk you through it as if you're on your back, because I think most people are coming onto their backs for this practice. So I'm just going to move this away from me a little bit there. So find your way onto your back. And hopefully you've got a nice setup so that you can really let go and release your body onto the floor. If you're sitting, hopefully you have something to sit on so that you're comfortable. If you don't like sitting on the floor, you could sit on a cushion or in a chair even. So allowing yourself to come into this new relationship with gravity, where more of your body is touching the surface that you're on, where you don't have to hold yourself up. So you don't have to focus on being upright. So let yourself be heavy, let the head be really heavy, and the jaw soften and relax. Feel your eyes dropping back into your skull, and the eyelids softening and relaxing. So see if you can take away all of the muscular tension around the eyes, so that your eyes are just kind of floating in your skull comfortably. The eyelids are just draped over your eyeballs. So there's no tension in your eyelids. Your brow is unfurrowed. And the front of your chest is really open. In fact, all of the area around your heart is feeling more spacious, like there's more room for your heart. And whatever that sensation is of the heart, we kind of, when we say like, oh, I feel it in my heart, there's like a sense of something that isn't just that organ that's pumping, but it's like a whole feeling. It's a sensitive feeling in the chest where we feel deeply. Like we feel heartache, we feel it in our chest. So let that whole sensation in your chest be open and spacious. And then bringing your attention to the breath, just allowing your breath to be a relaxed, comfortable, natural breath. But perhaps you could coax your breath into being a little more complete. So there's more awareness of the inhale and the exhale. And you might even notice that pause that happens before you inhale and bring the air back in. And you can probably feel how there's a lot of tension around your rib cage, just to hold it together. So you can soften that and you can let it settle back, let your rib cage settle back against the floor. If you happen to be sitting and upright, you can do the same really. Like just soften all of that tissue, muscle tissue and connective tissue. Just let it be released. And let it feel spacious in the rib cage and around the heart. So you might be able to feel, we feel the heart like in our chest, in the front of our chest, but feel it in the back as well. So let the middle of your back and the area around your heart, behind your heart, be spacious and released. And it's like you're breathing more spaciousness into your body. So one way to think about Tonglen practice, the practice of sending and receiving with the breath, is to think about whatever the focus of your Tonglen practice is going to be. And I'm going to dedicate mine to the family of George Floyd, who was killed by the police in Minneapolis, and to the people in that community that are grieving yet another death of a black man by the police, to the protesters, to people whose lives have been affected by racism and oppression. And you may choose that too, or you may think of something more personal that you wish to dedicate your practice to. So one way to think about it is that you're taking the pain that other people are experiencing it, and you are bringing it in, and then you are sending out relief from that pain and compassion for that struggle and kindness and love. And so to start, hopefully your eyes are closed by now and your body is feeling very relaxed and you're very aware of your breath, of the inhale and the exhale. And so to begin, just feel the openness. Feel the openness of the breath, of your heart, openness in your mind. And feeling the comfort of your breath. And if at any time this practice doesn't feel comfortable to you, of course you can always stop, and you may never come back to it, or you might find the next time that you do it, it feels more comfortable. So now as you start to bring in your inhale, you can focus on a darkness and a heaviness, almost a sense of claustrophobia as you take the in-breath. And then on the out-breath, you're going to send out light and spaciousness and openness. So you're going to practice that first, just on the in-breath, on the inhale, bringing in this heaviness, this darkness, and taking it into your body, and then sending on the out-breath, sending out this lightness and openness and spaciousness. So practicing like that to begin with. The inhale is darkness and heaviness, almost like a claustrophobia. The exhale, the out-breath, is this lightness and spaciousness and openness and a sense of well-being. So a couple more breaths like that. And then, as you begin to process that, then turning your attention to the thing that you've chosen to work with in your practice. So I brought up, for me, I'm choosing to work with the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis. So I am choosing to bring in the struggle and the suffering and the pain of his family and his community and of our community. And I'm choosing to send out compassion and kindness and love in the direction of all of that struggle and that oppression. So like that, making your choice and sending and receiving breath. So Tonglen practice. So bringing in whatever it is that you've chosen, breathing in the suffering and the struggle and the pain, and then breathing out compassion and kindness and love in the direction of that person or cause that you've chosen. So on the in-breath, we're taking it in, and on the out-breath, we're sending out light and love and peace in the direction of that struggle, of that pain. It's like we're asking ourselves to be opened up more to the pain and hurt and struggle of other people on this planet, of other beings, and we're giving them our compassion and our love back. So continuing that practice, inhaling and exhaling. And you might keep it abstract. You might be able to just take in the darkness and the claustrophobia and the fear and send out the spaciousness and the openness and the love. And if at any time you need to stop that practice and just come back to your breath, you can always do that. So just a couple more rounds of breathing like that. And notice if as you're taking it in and you're thinking about that struggle that you've chosen, about that person or that cause or that oppressiveness that you've chosen to work with, if it feels like you're contracting or constricting as you inhale, just allow yourself to be open with it. Almost like you're losing some of you're becoming more permeable in a sense, more open. And then just beginning to bring that practice to a conclusion and noticing if tension has gathered anywhere around your heart or in your face. And last night, we just worked with a simple mantra of peace in, peace out. And so if that practice is troubling to you, or if you feel like you need to come to something more simple, you could just come back to that easy mantra, or just bring your attention back to your breath and feel your breath. Noticing if there's any tension in your eyes or your jaw that has gathered, and just letting it soften. Feeling the heaviness of your body against the floor. Your own body, your own vessel getting you through this life. Treating it with tenderness. Washing away kind of all of the sadness with your breath, all of the pain that you might feel that's residual. Just allowing yourself to come into a state of greater calm and peace in your body. Feeling the kind of the reality of your body, the familiarity of it and the comfort of your body. The sacredness of your own body. No matter what your own body has been through, what it has endured. Feeling how easy your breath is. And feeling how open your heart is to the struggles of your fellow human beings, and how much you have to give. And how that can be an intention, but it can also be an action. So taking action on the behalf of others and on your own behalf in service, in the service of your intentions, and in the service of compassion and of removing suffering from other sentient beings. Of making yourself available in the ways that you can, with your own skills and your own gifts. So taking skillful action. And right now in your practice, that skillful action is in your breath. So feel the breath. Feel how smooth it is and how it nourishes you and sustains you and gives you life. And how it can calm your nervous system and bring you into a state of greater comfort in your body and greater peace. To breathe in this steady, comfortable way. And then from there, if you're coming back to your seat, you could roll onto your right side. And you could come back up and maybe, like me, you could sit up on a pillow or a block. You could find your spine and your breath in an upright position. And just feel how open your heart is. All the way around, in the back of your chest, in the front. More spaciousness in your body, more room. And just breathing a few more breaths here. Feeling light. Perhaps you feel some sense of relief yourself. And then from there, you could bring your hands together at your heart and you could bow your head to your own practice, to your own inner teacher, your higher self, or your higher power. And namaste, and have a lovely evening, and I'll be back tomorrow night again at 9 o'clock. Namaste.